April 20th, let us celebrate Jacques Cartier, explorer, one of the founders of Canada, maniac. I mean that in a good way, though. It's on April 20th of 1534 that Cartier set off with a commission from François Ier of France to explore certain islands, find lands, and particularly ones where a bunch of precious things could be found. So one of the major motivations of the European voyages of exploration was get rich quick. And so essentially what the king hoped is that Cartier would find the fabled Northwest Passage to Asia. Well, as I guess you know, he didn't, because he ran into his unexpected thing. It was called North America. And he explored the Gulf of St. Lawrence. He attached the name Canada to it. He claimed it for France. He did a number of things without which Canada today would not exist. But the critical point to me in thinking about all this is he didn't do what he set out to do. And he wouldn't have set out to do anything at all if he had not been possessed of courage bordering on recklessness. I mean, he didn't have GPS, he didn't have maps, and if he had had maps, they'd have been ludicrously inaccurate because they wouldn't have had that North America thing that turned out to be such an issue. For all he knew, there might be sea monsters, there might be mermaids, or men with eyes in their stomachs. There could have been hostile natives, or hostile inhabitants of Asia, or hostile Europeans. His ship could have sunk. I mean, seriously, if you're standing on the quay watching him sail off, someone says, "Oh, where's that there Jacques Cartier going?" and you were a betting man, you'd have said, watery grave. The most likely thing is the ship would sink, you'd never find out what had happened to him. And it's important when you think about those days, you realize that life itself was generally more uncertain. The prospect of dying at sea, there was also the very real prospect of staying home and being carried off by the sweating sickness or something of that sort. I think people had less hubris at that time because they were more aware of the reality that the best way to make God laugh is to make plans. Oh yeah, I'm going to get in a ship and sail to Asia. Go for it, buddy. But the fact is, he did go for it. People did go for it. And in those days, the odds of dying on a sailing ship were probably about 1 in 6, even if something terrible didn't happen to you on the other side. All kinds of things could happen to you en route. But they didn't let it discourage them. There's a passage from John Maynard Keynes. Again, I don't quote Keynes a whole lot, and when I do, it's usually as a warning. But he's quite right about this. He says that businesses are not generally motivated by the elaborate, formal, and apparently detailed planning statements in their prospectuses. It's really animal spirits that drive them. Now, Keynes went on to warn that if the animal spirits are dimmed, enterprise will falter and your economy will do badly. I wish governments that were willing to adopt his prescription for deficit spending would listen a little more carefully to what happens if they discourage enterprise through red tape and a generalized air of hostility. But let's put that aside for now. Let's just think about Jacques Cartier. What a maniac! He actually got in a ship and said, "I have no idea what's out there. I'm almost certain that all these stories that I've heard are wrong. I'm probably going to get lost. I might well die. I'll almost certainly get sick. Any number of catastrophes could occur, but you know what? I'm going to go anyway, and I bet I'm going to find something cool." He didn't find what he was looking for. He didn't find Asia, he didn't find spices, he didn't find gold. But he found Canada, and he found Canada because he just was willing to say, "What the heck," and get on the ship. And that spirit, I think, is one we should celebrate and embrace as a part of what has made Canada great. However much, as a betting man, you would have said, "I'm staying in Brittany," back on April 20th of 1534. I am not getting on that ship, and I am waving goodbye because I don't think I'll ever see that man again. If you enjoy these commentaries, please visit my website. That's johnrobson.ca. Make a contribution so I can continue to produce commentary. And also keep watching The Rebel and subscribing to it for the news and commentary you just won't get anywhere else.